How's it going, YouTube? Navysooner here. Today, we're going over reconnoitering and getting home rifles. Alright, today we're going to be discussing what makes a Recce rifle a Recce rifle. And in my case, my Recce rifle is my get home gun. Therefore, when I started this out and I said and get home rifles, that this is my get home rifle because it basically serves the same purpose. The whole term Recce rifle has gotten pretty big lately. A lot of people want to attribute it to Grand Thumb, and a lot of people that want to attribute it to him are all the same assholes that want to talk shit on people that want to build Recce rifles. And I'll discuss them at the end of the video. But today we're going to go over what makes a Recce rifle, how you can set up your Recce rifle, or how I've set mine up, and how I think a Recce rifle in my eyes should be set up, especially after doing a lot of research online over the Recce, not the NSW clone Recce, I mean like what a Recce is today. So before we go any further, let's look at my sweet ass whiteboard of truth. I'll say it to his face. The way that he talked trash about people. Dakota Meyer, you're the new face of the modern day FUD. All right, one more. Cowboys fans didn't make them America's team. An announcer on TV did. Sorry. Just a little warning before we go any further in this video. I like to use bad words, so if you want to watch this with your kids, that's on you. From here on out, there's going to be curse words, so just get your child out of the way. Sorry, that's who I am, not going to change that. My definition of a Recce rifle, and let me stress, my definition of a Recce rifle, is that of a relatively lightweight carbine that is chambered in an intermediate round that can reach out to distance if need be, and also do an okay job at close quarters combat. Notice I said carbine. I didn't say AR-15 because there's many different platforms out there that can be put into use as a Recce rifle. And I also said that it should be an intermediate cartridge. Some people have wanted to use .308. I don't think .308 is a good caliber for a Recce rifle because you want to stay relatively lightweight when you're doing reconnaissance or reconnoitering or whatever you want to fucking call it. I like 75 to 77 grain 5.56 223 rounds because those can hit decently at 600 yards and up close are really not fun to be hit with, I'm sure. Now, some people want to comment and say that a Recce rifle is no longer known as a Recce rifle. It's a general purpose rifle. No, the fuck it's not. No, it's just not, because a Recce rifle has a specific purpose, and a general purpose rifle definitely doesn't have a specific purpose. This, to me, is a general purpose rifle. It's good at close quarters, and if you need it, you can use it at a distance. It's 12.5 inches, and yes, I have a stamp for it. So this, to me, is a general purpose rifle. But you can use a general purpose rifle as a Recce rifle if you see fit that that's what your need is for your Recce. Some people want to point out that things like SPR rifles, which this is kind of an SPR build. It's not a freaking actual Mark 12 SPR. This is just my iteration of a SPR. These can be used as Recce rifles. The only problem is this is an 18-inch barrel and it's fairly heavy for what it is. And like I said in my definition, I truly believe that weight is a huge factor when it comes to a Recce rifle. Now, there's some people that want to talk down on a get home rifle. Well, I live rurally. And if there was to be a breakdown of transportation, like say, an EMP or roads become impassable, then your car isn't going anywhere. And to the dude that said, I'll just call my mom or I'll call my girlfriend to come get me, I don't even know what to say to you, because that's just the dumbest shit I've ever heard. So I'm going to set this up on the tripod, and then we're going to go over this rifle and other parts that you can use instead of what I have used. Before I talk about the parts, I would just like to say I'm sorry about the audio in the beginning. I forgot to put my microphone onto my camera, and hopefully the audio is going to be better from here on out. Well, the first part that I'm going to discuss is going to be the barrel. The barrel of a Recce rifle, I mean, it can really be any distance. The barrel of a Recce rifle really can be any length that you want it to be. The only thing is, in my case of using 5.56, at distances, if you use a shorter barrel, you really aren't getting the full capabilities of the 5.56 223, and I like to use 75 to 77 grain bullets. So in this one, which I have done a review on this rifle before, this is my 14.5 inch Super Duty upper from Geisley, and it is a 14.5 inch barrel with a 1 in 7 twist. You can go down to a 12.5, I think is the lowest I would probably go, and the high length you can get up to, I mean, you can go out to 20 inches or however long you want, but I would generally stay around 16 inches. In fact, the NSW rifles are like 15.1 inches and somewhere around 16 inches as well. So I wouldn't go any higher than 16 inches anyways. And I wouldn't skimp on the company that the barrel is made by either. Yes, companies like Palmetto State Armory make a decent barrel, but when you're shooting out to longer distances, which I would like to reach out to 600 yards with this if I needed to, and I can regularly reach out to about 600 yards with this at 14.5 inches, I can. And it's very accurate gun. Not to say that Palmetto State Armory barrels aren't all not accurate. It's just it's not proven that every barrel that they have is accurate. And I mean, if you really need to, Palmetto State Armory would be okay, but I would just try and stick with ballistic advantage as probably being the lowest I'd go. Moving to the front of the barrel, we're going to go to the muzzle device. The muzzle device I'm using is a flash hider from Dead Air. I'm using Dead Air because I use a Dead Air suppressor on all my rifles. I'm also using the flash suppressor because it's better at flash suppression than the brake is. Yes, the brake will bring you back on target after each shot better, but the flash suppression is more important in my eyes. Now, you can always use an A2 flash hider or any other type of flash hider and anything that goes with any suppressor that you would like to use. But if you use a brake, I would hugely suggest that you use your suppressor with it all the time, especially if you're wanting to not be seen while taking a shot. I would definitely recommend for handguards something that is lighter weight than what the NSW Recce has. That rifle actually uses a Knight's Armament quad rail and is fairly heavy. This rail here is not exactly the lightest rail. It is the Mark 16 from Geisley. It's not exactly the lightest, like I said, but it's a lot lighter than the Knight's Armament. What I'd really recommend is something like this rail here. This is from BCM, and I just believe that that's a lighter rail and it's plenty strong. Only reason I'm going with the Geisley one here for mine is because it came with my Super Duty upper. It's still a lot lighter than the Knight's Armament rails, but I'd still like something a little bit lighter. When it comes to attachments for this rail, a lot of people would like to put on things like bipods for their Recce rifles. I don't think a Recce rifle needs a bipod because you're probably never going to find a stable enough surface or a flat enough surface to be able to use a bipod to its full advantage. That being said, just use a backpack. If you're doing a Recce, If you're reconnoitering, you more than likely have a backpack, and that'll work great. Now, optics is kind of a point of contention when it comes to recce rifles. Some people believe that red dot is just fine. Some people actually have like 6 to 26 or 25 power zoom scopes on their so-called recce rifles that I've seen all over the internet. I think that's kind of dumb. I have a 1:8 on mine, which is a Burris XTR2, and this is a 34 millimeter tube. 34 millimeter tube helps bring in more light, and it makes it a little bit more robust. And 8 power zoom, in my opinion, is good for what you need to do in a reconnaissance or reconnoitering, for looking through your scope to see things or whatnot. And then also it's more than enough to get you out to 600 yards. Some people on something like what people would call a mini recce might use a smaller LPVO, 1:4. I'd go with 1:6 if I was going to go any smaller than the 1:8, but you can go to 1:4. There's people that use a 3-time magnification on a red dot, and then some people believe in using ACOGs for a recce rifle. I personally believe that the LPVO is the best option for a recce rifle. In conjunction with your optic, I would use some kind of backup. What I have here is a Holosun, and some people want to talk trash on Holosun. I think they're great optics. I'm sorry that you can't get over the fact that they're made in China. You have a lot of shit that you're using that's made in China, so throw that shit out too. Anyways, what I'm using here for my backup is a Holosun, and I have it at a 45 degree. Some people might want to put a mount that is detachable for their scope and have iron sights ran at each end. Some people put the red dot on top. There's even some out there that have a 90 degree offset for their red dots, or you can put 45 degree offset iron sights. But I would definitely have a backup to your primary optic. How I have this is I always have it set to the 8 power, and then I use the red dot as my primary close in, and if that goes down, then I can use the 1 time in the scope. But if the scope goes down, then I can use my red dot to get me out of a sticky situation. And speaking of that, no, I haven't been in any firefights, but if you do get in a firefight in a reconnaissance role, you're not doing very good at the mission of recce or reconnoitering or reconnaissance. You've been found out and you didn't do a good job. When it comes to triggers, I have a 2-stage trigger because I like using 2-stage triggers for the more precision of my ARs. I like using 1 stages for the not so precision ARs that I have. This one is a Black Market Firearms 2-stage trigger, it's 4.5 pounds. Really, just use whatever trigger you're comfortable with and what you train with and what you learn with. So I can use both a single stage and a 2-stage. It doesn't really bother me, but for more precision work like a recce is meant to be for, I would use a 2-stage for me. Next that I would go with on a recce is a flashlight, obviously. The flashlight that I have here is actually a Streamlight ProTac HLX, which is a weapon-mounted light that Streamlight uses. Some people don't like these, they say they're trash, but for the price I think they're really good. And some people don't like their pressure switches and say that these break very easily. I haven't had any issues with mine. I run Surefires as well, and I've been testing out a Cloud. I'll be talking about flashlights later on, but here's an option if you do want to go with a Streamlight, which is a little bit more budget than a Surefire, and this is from Airsocket, and you can put this on and it will use Surefire tail caps, and it attaches to Streamlights, and then you can use Surefire pressure switches. Just know that Surefire pressure switches aren't as indestructible as some may think as well. The reason that I went with the Streamlight over Surefire is because it puts out more light than the M600, or definitely more than the M300, and I would like, for further distances, if I need to use a flashlight at night, which I really wouldn't, to be able to reach out with this flashlight. I learned recently from Garantham that you want to put something on the end of your flashlights, especially at night, if someone is like spotting a hill, because the front of the flashlights are reflective, and if you aren't going to be using it and you're just watching stuff, you want to close it. And that was in one of Grantham's recent videos. And like I said, sorry if you don't like someone watching a video and getting ideas from somebody else. God forbid somebody get other ideas from other people. I mean, that's just dumb, isn't it? I mean, learning, so stupid. As well with the flashlights, these pressure switches have been known to go bad on these. They've also been known to go bad on Surefires. So in my kit, I always carry, boom, the tail cap that I can just have a clicky on. That way I can take that off, throw that on, and I can still run a flashlight. And that's the reason that I have it on the left side rather than the right side. So, I mean, a lot of people want to run all their stuff on the left side, but if it goes down and you need to use this switch, you're going to have fun reaching under your gun to touch it. And now for the last couple of things that you would need for a Recce rifle, in my opinion. A sling. This is the Viking Tactics VTAC sling. The padding on it is really nice and it works great. And the reason that you need a good sling is because, well, if you get one that doesn't have very much padding, reconnoitering and running around the forest, or me like running around the hill country of Texas, if I need to get home from my school to my house, I have a really nice sling. And you have a crappy sling, your shoulder's going to be burning after a while. And finally, I would invest in 20 round magazines. When you are laying prone, or if you are one of those people that say, screw you, I'm using a bipod, 30 round magazines are kind of a pain in the ass when it comes to laying prone shooting. So I like to have 20 round magazines. Now in my kit, on my chest rig and on my belt, I'm going to have 30 round mags, but I'm going to have this in my gun for stowage, because in my truck I have a way of stowing my rifle to where you're not getting it the fuck out of it. It's not going to get stolen. And if I have a feeling in the slightest bit that my truck would get broken into and it would be taken out of my truck somehow, even though there's no way you're going to get it out of my truck, I just wouldn't even bring it with me. If I'm around town, I don't have the rifle in my truck. But if I'm going out of town, yeah, it's in my truck. And for stowage, 20 round magazines help stow better too. So I keep 3 extra magazines. I keep 3 extra 20 round magazines in my backpack, and I also keep this one in my rifle. So that's why I'd go with 20 round mags. Now lately there have been a lot of people in the gun community, 2A community, all over the internet, talking trash on people that want to build Recce rifles, even if they don't Recce, or they're not built, or they're not capable of doing Recce, or whatever. Screw those guys. If you want to build a Recce rifle, go ahead and build out a Recce rifle. And to the guys that want to say it's a general purpose rifle, like I said before, it's not a general purpose rifle. I've built this thing out specifically for a Recce / get home mission. And to the guys that still want to talk trash about it, it's your life that you hate, not everybody else's. Just get over it. Sorry. There's some guy that made a meme that said, you can do the Recce mission better with a Glock 19 and a map. I mean, aren't you going to have a fucking map when you're doing Recce anyways? And this kind of Recce is more for long distance Recce, not like walking in a city, like looking around Recce. This is more like rural. I'm walking through forests, I'm walking through hill country, I'm walking everywhere. Not like I'm going to check out a city with a freaking Glock 19 stuck under my belt with not even showing. So, I mean, that guy, yeah, I get it. that kind of Recce, yes. But when you tried to say that it's rural Recce, well then, yeah, you're just completely wrong because, I mean, someone engages you from 100 yards away, you gonna use your pistol for that? No? Where are you gonna go hide? You gonna run over the other hill while the guy shoots at you while you're trying to get over the fucking hill? Yeah, not how it works. Sorry. If you like this video and you like my content, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and also I do have a Patreon and a Subscribe Star. There's no content over there currently because, well, I don't really get anything from anybody over there. If I start getting more people, then I'm going to start putting content over there. But until then, it's just a way to be able to donate to me. If you don't want to worry about like a subscription style donation, then you can donate directly to me using PayPal. My email address that you can use is navysoonerchannel@gmail.com, and it'll go right to me on PayPal. I greatly appreciate those that have in the past donated to me. It's not been very much, but it's been greatly appreciated. And still, to all the people that want to talk trash about e-begging, go fuck yourself. Sorry. And to the guy that wants to say, maybe you shouldn't talk trash about people and then ask for money, I'm talking trash about the people that wouldn't fucking donate, so fuck off. Well, that's it. Navysooner out. Okay. I fucking hate that clock. Woo! One of them. Woo! There goes that. Now for one of my last morsel, and now for one of my last couple of things that I would use on a Recce, and one of them is a sling, a really nice sling. These VTech slings are really nice. The padding on it is amazing. Y'all saw a video that dumbass Matt